Josh Sargent, can he grab two? What a save by the goalkeeper, Ismail Assar! I thought that was in. I saw the net ripple, and I thought Ismail Assar had doubled the lead. We suffered 3 straight defeats in the last episode of the Redmont Rangers Road to Glory. We lost 3-1 against 10-man Wolves away from home in what was one of the worst performances of our season so far. We then lost 2-1 to Brighton at the Amex and lost 2-1 again, this time to West Ham at home. And those results leave us in 16th place in the table, just 6 points from safety now. We've also left our manager rating looking perilously low, and the board have been in touch to say they're not happy with the progress that we're making as a club. We are still on course for survival, but we are making it difficult for ourselves. It's going to get even more difficult today as we have a game against Tottenham to get to. This will be the game that we play in full. We'll then be quick simming games against Everton at home and then against Fulham at Craven Cottage, leaving just 2 games left to play in this season. And this episode will see the return of another familiar face, Daniel Jefferson, having completed a £120 million move to Spurs. After we sold him back to his original club, Sheffield United, is now an 87 overall, 6'3" with 96 pace and 87 shooting, 87 physical as well. He's going to be a real problem today. Looking at the top 25 scorers in the Premier League, though, I don't see Jefferson's name anywhere. However, I do see 2 Tottenham players, Zalewski and Ansu Fati. And Zalewski's name also appears on the top 25 assisters of the season as well. Nikola Zalewski is a 27-year-old right midfielder, 83 overall with a couple of play styles. So maybe he's the guy that we'll be needing to keep a close eye on today. Daniel Jefferson, it looks like, has been splitting time up front with Gerard Moreno. Moreno, 5 goals and 3 assists on the season, whereas Jefferson just has the 2 goals to his name. We do also see the name of Thierry Correa on the list. Correa, of course, one of the right-backs that we were looking at before we secured Sacha Boey. And both Daniel Jefferson and Thierry Correa do start today for Tottenham. Yves Bissouma starts in midfield, Brian Hill and Ansu Fati the wingers. Zalewski, fortunately for us, starts on the bench today. I would be happy enough with a point here, so we are going to go out in our 5-2-3 formation. Sacha Boey, Caleb Taylor, Patrick Pfeiffer, Jesse Cartwright and Bali Mumba, our strongest back 5, and they will stand in front of Alexander Bobek in goal. Caceres and McAtee are the pairing in midfield, and then our strongest front 3 as well of Haraldson, Sargent and Ismail Assar. We are testing a new slider set for this game as well. Title Update 11 has come and ruined all of the hard work that I put into the last one. However, I have been working hard on version 4 already, and I am hoping to have that to you by some point this weekend. But without further ado, let's head over to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and see what we can do against this really strong Spurs side. We are up in the booth for this one. Redmont Rangers versus Tottenham Hotspur at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. A trip down to London for the northeast side. Desperately trying to cling on to our status as a Premier League club here in season number 6. Interesting touch from Sacha Boey. He does spot Ismail Assar in behind them. We could have an early opportunity here. Ismail Assar can't quite find Josh Sargent. Lots of Redmont Rangers fans making the trip down to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, filling that corner of the stadium there with beautiful red shirts. And they get behind their team early here. We need to start putting some points on the board. We are still on course. How is that handball, Lino? Come on. We are still on course to stay up this season, but we are cutting it fine now. We've hit a really bad patch of form at the worst possible time. It felt like we were starting to kick into a higher gear for a time. And that's just completely fallen away. And we've hit arguably our worst form of the season. Arguably our most important period of the season. Coventry just 6 points behind us now with 5 games to play. And it looked like we were fairly comfortably safe. But that's certainly not a points tally that I can feel too secure about. James McAtee in the box. Harrelson at the back post, trying to get his head to it. It's going to fall to Harrelson again, though. He's going to lift it in towards McAtee at the back post. Goalkeeper clears. It's a bright start from Redmont. Here's Christian Caceres. If we want goals today, we're going to have to get him on the ball. He has been in pretty unbelievable goal-scoring form, really for any player, but for a defensive midfielder in particular. Good challenge from Jesse Cartwright. Bailey Mumba's on the ball. Lays it off to Patrick Pfeiffer and then to Caleb Taylor. And James McAtee just lays it off to Sasha Bowie. We do have 5 at the back today. We've been going with that 4-3-3 formation a little bit more often in recent games. But I want to be solid defensively here today. First and foremost, I want to try not to concede. It's going to be a tough task against Tottenham Hotspur. But I do feel like we are... That's a poor pass from Patrick Pfeiffer. And Tottenham are away down this left-hand side with Ansu Fati. Sasha Bowie there to try and shepherd him into the corner, which he does. He's beaten on the second attempt, though. Really nice turn from Ansu Fati. Caleb Taylor comes across to help, puts in a foot. But it does fall to Tottenham in the area. It's a good block by Jesse Cartwright in the end. And Bailey Mumba's going to have a chance to clear. And he just does so. Doesn't risk losing the ball in a dangerous area, though. Especially when we've got Josh Sargent up front, who can win the ball with his head, just like he did there. Ismaila Sarr, can he find Sasha Bowie? Not quite. Not quite. It was a good effort from Ismaila Sarr to find his running mate at right back. But just a little bit too much on the pass. So Daniel Jefferson up front for Tottenham Hotspur today. Obviously a former Redmont Rangers player. Probably more known as a Sheffield United player. He wasn't at Redmont Rangers for too long. And he has been a Sheffield United player on 2 separate occasions now. Josh Sargent, can he get there? The ball falls in the box. Josh Sargent puts it in. And Josh Sargent finally gets his goal. It's been a long time coming for Josh Sargent, and that was not the goal that I expected him to score when he finally broke his streak of games played without a goal. But we'll certainly take it. What is the goalkeeper doing? He dives to try and reach the ball initially, gets nowhere near it, falls in the area, and he leaps over the body of Josh Sargent as he falls at his feet, leaving the goal wide open. I'm not sure we needed the green timed finish there, but a goal for Josh Sargent opens the scoring here in Tottenham, and it's an unlikely 1-goal lead for Redmont Rangers early here, 16 minutes into the game. A goal for Redmont Rangers scored by number 9, Josh Sargent. And I have been waiting a long, long time to say that, I can tell you. He did score a goal in Quick Sim a couple of games back. But we've been waiting a long time to score a goal with him in games played. He's had a really tough season, Sargent. Unable to get really anywhere close to his tally of 19 goals that he scored last season. That's poor Ismaila Sarr. I believe that is his 6th of this campaign. But it could prove to be a crucial one for us. Sasha Bowie faced down by 3 Tottenham players. Patrick Pfeiffer eventually works it clear into Josh Sargent's feet. And we're away with Harrelson on this left-hand side. Bailey Mumba, why he's making an inverted run there, I have no idea. He's set to overlap. That's where the space was. And instead he runs inside Harrelson and away from the pass. Absolutely inexplicable behaviour from Bailey Mumba. And Tottenham are away on this right-hand side. Thankfully, Brian Keel is in an offside position, because we were in trouble there. So a free kick down in the left-back position for Redmont Rangers. We'll just play it short and work it across the back line. Daniel Jefferson looks like he's in kind of a false 9 position. He dropped way back into midfield there rather than pressing high up the field. And I'm not really sure how to approach this game going forward. Do we try and get a second goal here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium? Or do we try and while away as much of the game as we can? I think whilst Tottenham are neglecting to press us high up the field, we try and keep the ball as much as possible. And I've given it away with Caleb Taylor. My finger slipped. I was trying to power up a pass there to Patrick Pfeiffer. It completely slipped off the button. And Caleb Taylor thankfully wins the ball back. That would have been a real mistake there. Trying to power up a button across to Patrick Pfeiffer. And I end up just poking it with Caleb Taylor's big toe. Daniel Jefferson on the ball. Again, Tottenham work it into the box. Patrick Pfeiffer there. So is Caleb Taylor. Sasha Bowie can't get the block, and Alexander Bobek ends up making a really, really good save. Brian Hill coming over to take the corner as we approach the half-hour mark here. And Tottenham loading the box. Daniel Jefferson on the edge of the 6-yard box. We know how dangerous he can be from corners. Harrison gets the initial clearance, wins the ball back from Brian Hill as well, and he's just going to have to hook it clear under pressure from those Tottenham players pressing him high up the field. Another good challenge from Harrelson. He's really doing his defensive duty at the moment. Just going to have to turn it back to Jesse Cartwright though, who's going to have to go all the way back to Alexander Bobek. I don't feel comfortable on the ball whatsoever, especially when Tottenham do begin to press us, which they are starting to do a little more aggressively here. Ismail Assar slips Sasha Bowie in behind though. The Tottenham defender just does not have the pace to keep up with him. Josh Sargent, can he grab 2? What a save by the goalkeeper. Ismail Assar! I thought that was in. I saw the net ripple, and I thought Ismail Assar had doubled the lead. But it actually ripples the side of the net rather than the back. And it does remain 1-0 Redmont Rangers. Ismail Assar so close to doubling the lead there. Josh Sargent just as close, really. I think it was a save from the goalkeeper that prevented Josh Sargent from doubling the lead and doubling his tally for the day. It could well have been a block by the defender. There was a defender in the area. And it's well won by Christian Caceres. James McAtee trying to find some space, and he does manage to find Sasha Bowie on the right-hand side. Again, he beats his man. We're going to look again for Josh Sargent. What a punch by the goalkeeper. Took out Josh Sargent in the process, but he did get to the ball. It was a fair enough challenge from the goalkeeper. And again, Josh Sargent almost in to double his tally. Didn't get his head on it, but he did put one on the goalkeeper in the process. And this has been a really good game so far. Very positive. Yet again, Harrelson with a fantastic challenge. He's been excellent defensively so far today. We don't want to rely on Harrelson too much defensively, really, ever. And Tottenham really piling on the pressure here. They are really committing bodies forward to the high press now. And we've been caught out of position here with Jesse Cartwright. We're going to have to get back into that back line. And that's exactly why we've left the space there for Daniel Jefferson. Thankfully, the shot was from roughly the edge of the penalty area. And Alexander Bobek was equal to it. But we stepped up with Jesse Cartwright there to try and challenge Tottenham. It was the wrong decision, because that just vacated the space in behind. And look who it is again. Yes, it has gone out for a corner, but it's another great challenge from Harrelson. As we see Josh Sargent's goal again. Without doubt, the easiest goal he will ever score. And again, we're going to double up on Daniel Jefferson here. Sasha Bowie, the man who ends up getting his head to the ball. I didn't like what I saw there. Sasha Bowie being the man to rise up and head away, but it was in the end a free header. No real challenge from a Tottenham player. But we can't be relying on Sasha Bowie to clear from corners. And Daniel Jefferson in the box. Jesse Cartwright's going to have to clear, and eventually he does. The ball pinballed around in the box for a second there, bouncing off a couple of bodies in both red and white shirts. Almost fell to Daniel Jefferson. And I can't help but feel that Daniel Jefferson's going to get one at some point today. Especially if we give him space in the box like this. Jesse Cartwright stands up the Tottenham man. Blocks the ball. Great clearance from Sacha Bowie. Let's get up the field. Let's follow behind Josh Sargent. Let's put pressure on these Tottenham players. And we can't do it. Tottenham win the ball back. Or not win the ball back, but maintain possession, really. And again, they are into Redmont Rangers territory. It's a poor delivery, though. And Josh Sargent could be away through the middle here. Can Harrelson find him? He can't. The pass was a bit rushed. A little bit rushed with the outside of his foot. It was a narrow space to try and fit that ball through. It was a difficult pass. Maybe a pass that looked more difficult than maybe it seemed at first glance. But we are under huge pressure at the end of this first half. Tottenham desperate to avoid going in 1-0 down at the break, but that is opening holes in behind. And Sacha Bowie again is forward on this right-hand side. Ismail Assar finds Sacha Bowie once more. James McAtee strikes again. Both efforts blocked. And Tottenham are away on this left-hand side. If there's anybody on the pitch who can match Sacha Bowie for pace, it's probably Ansu Fati. And he does come away with the ball. Jesse Cartwright can't win it back. It's down to Sacha Bowie to have a second attempt, and instead he gives away a foul. And our 2 minutes of injury time have already elapsed, but Tottenham will get one last chance to put the ball into the box here from a free kick, but essentially a corner. Lofted into the box. Josh Sargent is there. Alexander Bobek is also there. He claims the ball and the referee's whistle goes. So good performance in that first half. We stole a goal from Tottenham and then did really well to just hold on to that 1-goal lead as Tottenham piled on the pressure there. Daniel Jefferson has been quiet so far, but we're going to have to continue to keep an eye on him in the second half. So out for the second half here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We did drop into our defensive game plan towards the end of that first half, and we're going to stick in that defensive game plan as we come out for the second. We're going to see how Tottenham line up and how they approach the opening period here in this second half. If they continue to pressure us as much as they did at the end of the first half there, we will certainly continue to sit in that defensive game plan. But if they revert to more the style they were playing at the beginning of the game, then I think we can maybe afford to go back into our default game plan at the very least and try and grab somehow a second goal in this game. A second goal would change things completely. A 1-goal lead feels flimsy at best, I think is probably the word for it. Harrelson, Josh Sargent, James McAtee, and it's wide. It wasn't really close in the end, but it was a good opportunity. It was a sliding effort with his right foot. Not the kind of effort you want James McAtee to be taking on. But positive signs here again at the start of the second half. So a goal kick for Tottenham. Just dropped into midfield there where Christian Caceres is sitting off. Does fall to McAtee and then eventually to Caceres, who just plays it out of bounds on that left-hand side. Not a good pass from Caceres. He's been quiet today. Not what we've become used to from him. He's been really one of our best players over the last, I would say, 2 months or so. That's a poor pass from Destiny Udogie, but it does fall back to the Tottenham man. And that's too easy for Sacha Bowie. Ansu Fati has pace, but you're going to need to be a little bit more creative than that if you're going to beat Sacha Bowie. Nice little touch from Barley Mumba. And Josh Sargent is in the middle of the field here, driving at the Tottenham back line, continuing into the Tottenham box, lifted back into the box by Josh Sargent. Harrelson wins the header. James McAtee attempts to strike, but blocked by the Tottenham defenders, and again they come away with the ball. I wanted to step up with Sacha Bowie there, but I thought better of it. Let's allow Tottenham to come onto us here, and that's exactly why. Let's invite them into those spaces where the bodies are. No point stepping up with Sacha Bowie and dragging a player out of position. We can allow Tottenham to walk the ball into a congested area, which is exactly what they did there. Ismail Assar was in it with a nice little run. Can Sacha Bowie find him? Not quite. Not quite. It was an ambitious pass, but the ball almost fell for Ismail Assar. He would have been in a position to get a shot off without doubt. Nice little reverse pass from Tottenham. And Daniel Jefferson just goes backwards. Good challenge from Christian Caceres. Good second challenge as well. The assistant is waving his flag. I'm not sure which of those two were a foul. I like the look of both of those challenges. Certainly ones I would invite Christian Caceres to make again. And if he could make another one here, I would very much enjoy that. Ansu Fati, that's a little better. Still can't beat Sacha Bowie though. And again, Tottenham have to go backwards. Josh Sargent just unable to bring the ball under his control. He got a toe to it, but that toe wasn't quite enough. And again, Tottenham press. And again, we dragged a player out of position there. James McAtee it was this time. Not the end of the world, because we do have 5 defenders in behind him, but we need to break that habit. As Harrison comes away on this left-hand side. James McAtee inside. Got players over on the right if McAtee can find them. And he's found Sacha Bowie. Josh Sargent needs to get in the box, which he has. Headers towards goal. Good save from the goalkeeper. It was a comfortable height, but he did have to dive away to his right and parry the ball away. Good effort from Josh Sargent. He's been lively today. This is the Josh Sargent of old. Josh Sargent of last season, and again he's causing trouble here as he plays James McAtee in. McAtee unfortunately can't do the same for Ismail Assar though. Tottenham goalkeeper clears upfield. Harrison just nods it into Jesse Cartwright. We continue to sit in our defensive game plan, and I see no reason to change that, to be honest. We feel relatively robust and secure in this game plan, and I don't fancy our chances of getting a second goal here. I'd rather just try and hold on to the single goal lead. Tottenham are going to make a couple of substitutions, and I think we'll do the same. It's just going to be the one change for Hans Newman. James McAtee is coming off to be replaced by Max Weber. Max Weber is going to sit in that slightly more defensive role that Christian Caceres was playing in the first half. And up to this point in the game, really. And Caceres is now going to move over to that role vacated by James McAtee. The slightly more forward-thinking, creative role. The role that has a little bit more freedom. Max Weber, though, could be the man to generate a second goal here. Tries to play Josh Sargent in behind. It was a good ball, but it was bouncing. And Josh Sargent couldn't quite get it under control. Max Weber back in the thick of the action defensively now, though. As Bali Mumba cuts off the pursuit up ahead. And Jesse Cartwright will just attempt to clear. And it's blocked by a Tottenham man. It looked initially to be blocked by his face, but the linesman flagged, said it was blocked by a hand instead, and we've taken it short and just invited pressure here. Potentially we should just be hitting that long. And Max Weber needs to move. So flat-footed. So flat-footed there. Just needed Max Weber to step up into that little bit of space and allow Bali Mumba to play him in. Or not even play him in, but just play the ball into his feet. Instead, Max Weber stood where he was. And Harrison is just going to have to turn back towards his own goal. Nicely worked, though, to find Harrison again. And Bali Mumba is in behind here. And again, Josh Sargent needs to get into the box. Initial cross is unsuccessful. Bali Mumba continues, though. Lost it back towards Josh Sargent. And he snatches at the chance and it goes wide. I was anticipating the ball to fall to Christian Caceres there. Instead, Josh Sargent takes on the shot. Throws a foot out behind him. Tries to turn it towards goal, but can't quite get enough on it to get the shot on target. And it does remain just a 1-goal lead for Redmont Rangers here. If you were to offer Hans Newman a 1-goal lead in the 72nd minute, I'm sure he would have taken that before the game. So certainly fortunate to be in this position, especially when we consider the nature of the goal that Josh Sargent scored. Bali Mumba again in behind, though. Josh Sargent into the Tottenham box. Can't quite cut it back onto his right foot. His right foot much stronger than his left, so you can certainly understand why he tried to cut it onto his right rather than take the shot on with his left. It would have been a hopeful effort to say the least. Christian Caceres there to cut out that pass. Daniel Jefferson can't win it back for Tottenham. Josh Sargent again with the ball at his feet. Barley Mumba again in space on the left-hand side. Can he beat his man Thierry Correa? No, he can't. Tottenham give it straight back to Christian Caceres though. We know Correa has pace. We scouted him extensively ahead of the January transfer window. If there's one thing we know about Thierry Correa, it's that he's quick. We also know that he rejected Redmont Rangers in favour of Tottenham, so if we could get one over on him here today, that would certainly feel like we got some measure of revenge. Same can't quite be said for Daniel Jefferson, because we chose to sell him. We didn't have to sell him, it was just that the money was too good to turn down. Really, it's more of a revenge game for Daniel Jefferson than it is for us here today. Ismail Assar in space, can't quite get the shot off from range. Christian Caceres trying to work back into midfield, and he does manage to get back and delay the Tottenham attack. Harrelson pinching in, far too narrow though. Caceres had that covered. We just needed Harrelson to double up on this right hand side, which he's done there. Barley Mumba tries to clear. Jesse Cartwright doing the same. Both attempts blocked by Tottenham. We had Harrelson in space there if we could have found him. And Patrick Pfeiffer makes the block. It falls to a Tottenham man again, but the pass is a poor one. And Patrick Pfeiffer with the ball at his feet. Jesse Cartwright. Barley Mumba. Couple more changes in the offing when the ball goes out of play. Harrelson with a run in behind. Can he beat Correa to it? He can't. Josh Sargent piling on the pressure high up the field here. He's not stopped running. He never does. Oh, and Barley Mumba again has stepped up and he's been caught out of position. Thankfully, Correa is extremely tired. These Tottenham legs really starting to waver late in the game here. They've worked hard to try and get back into it, but we have defended so robustly. We've kept them running this way and that all over the field. They're working it well here though, Tottenham. Lots of possession here in the second half. It was fairly even in the first half. Nice little ball as well. That could be a hand in there, and I think it is. It's a Tottenham free kick in a dangerous position. And with 2 minutes left to go in the game, Ansu Fati comes off, but Tottenham have a chance to level things here. A couple of changes for Redmont Rangers as well. And so late in the game, we're going to make all 4 changes that we have left. Fresh legs in midfield. Denzel Dumfries comes on as Daniel Jefferson lines up, hits the post, and in. And in. Tottenham equalise with 2 minutes left to go in the game. I thought Daniel Jefferson was shaping to take the free kick. It was actually the second man who came over. Ordinarily, those players run over the ball, and the other player takes it. That's what I was expecting. That's why I didn't jump with the wall. The free kick comes crashing back off the post. Alexander Bobek almost knocks himself out. He does manage to get back to his feet though. Can't parry the ball away from goal before it crosses the line. And Tottenham do equalise late in the game here. It's a heartbreaking equaliser for Redmont. Alex Lewis trying to find a winning goal though. Almost falls to Dane Scarlett in the box. Dane Scarlett, of course, an ex-Tottenham player. And Barley Mumba again is going to play Alex Lewis in behind here. Thierry Correa for company. Alex Lewis cuts it onto his right foot, into the box, strikes towards goal and saved by the Tottenham goalkeeper. Alex Lewis really trying to make something happen at the end of the game here. 2 of 4 added minutes have elapsed. And I can see Jesse Cartwright. He sticks out like a sore thumb. He is absolutely enormous. We're going to try and find him here with Alex Lewis's corner. Instead of staying Scarlett, who challenges. Caleb Taylor can put it back out to Alex Lewis, though, who puts it back into the box, and it almost falls to Bali Mumba, all on his own. It would surely have been a goal. All he would have had to have done is turn the ball towards goal, get something on target there, and it surely would have been in. He was all alone on the edge of the 6-yard box. But the ball was cleared by a Tottenham man just before it fell to Mumba. And it is going to be a draw here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Again, if you were to offer Hans Newman a point before the game, I think he would have snatched it and ran. But the way in which the game went, I think Hans Newman and Redmont Rangers can feel a little bit hard done by. I mean, Tottenham were the more dominant side for sure, but to have the lead for so long and give it up at the end is just brutal. So a painful way to drop points there, but some consolation is that Coventry did lose their game. So with 4 games left of the season, we do go to 7 points above the drop zone. And we have what in theory should be a slightly easier game against Everton here to get to next. Just 1 win in the last 5 games for Everton, and not the strongest 11 that we've come across this season by any means. We'll go back to our 4-3-3 formation. Denzel Dumfries and Afonso Mendes coming into the side. Caleb Taylor sticking at centre-back ahead of Patrick Pfeiffer. And pretty much our strongest 11 other than that. And it's another goal for Josh Sargent and another point for Redmont Rangers. It's not a win, but it is an extra point on the board. It is one small step closer towards Premier League status next season. And that means we are now 8 points ahead of Coventry City with just 3 games left to play. We are crawling towards the finish line here. And this game against Fulham could be enough to keep us up. 4 wins out of the last 5 for Fulham, though, on an absolutely magnificent run of form. Whereas we're going to be playing a heavily rotated 11. Not only are we desperately trying to stay in the Premier League this season, we're also desperately trying to keep the squad happy and keep the board satisfied so that we can keep our job heading into next season. So it's probably going to be a tougher test than it would be on any other day. And that does prove to be the case, as a late goal from Brendan Clark isn't enough to get anything from Craven Cottage. Fulham running out 2-1 winners. Pau Torres scoring in the second half. Van Duyven scoring in the first half to secure the 3 points for the home side. And that loss against Fulham does mean we drop 1 place in the table to 17th, just above the relegation zone. However, there are 2 games left to play in the season, and we are 8 points ahead of Coventry. Crystal Palace and Leicester both have a game in hand on both us and Coventry, but Crystal Palace are the closest on 20 points. So even if they were to win all 3 of their remaining fixtures, they could only leapfrog Coventry City. All 3 teams in the relegation zone are now doomed to relegation, and we are now officially safe. Which means in the next episode we have just 2 games to get to. A home game against Leeds, which we will play, and an away game against Bournemouth, which we will quick sim. But neither of those games have anything riding on them. The pressure is off. Redmont Rangers are Premier League for another season at the very least. So I'm hoping to round the season out. We can have a nice, fun, free-flowing game. The pressure is off. We can relax. We can play our football. We can score some goals. We can put on a show for the home fans to round the season out. So we will look forward to that in the next episode. I hope to see you there. Take it easy.